Hello, is it me you're looking for? Today we're going to talk about the science of alone time on today's episode. Hello everyone. I got to sing some Lionel Richie in the intro, and although it was very poor singing, we're talking about finding someone, and today we're going to talk about finding that person who is you and that being able to spend alone time. And today we're using the latest scientific data from Happify in order to help understand why we need to be alone and the scientific benefits of it. So I want to go through that today. Personal story, we'll go through a personal story about me finding myself and being able to be alone by myself, which just creates such value. But as always, I want to begin with a quote, and that quote is, "All men's miseries derive from not being able to sit in a quiet room alone." That was from Pascal. All men's miseries derive from not being able to sit in a quiet room alone. It's true. Your inability to be quiet and understand the space around you and the spaces where you manifest what you want to come in, you can't create that space if you're distracted and you can't be by yourself. Self-love comes from being with yourself. When you're with yourself and you're present, you bring others to you and you can manifest that. You should I'm not going to use the word should. Let me tell you why you should be happy to be alone with yourself. Even if you don't feel great about yourself right now, let me tell you exactly why, from a knowing that I have, on why you should be happy to be alone with yourself. You bring into existence the entire fabric of reality through your conscious observation of a subjective event, which is your life. Wow. I bless you and thank you for collapsing the waveform and bringing into an existence all creation through your subjective awareness of it. If there is no one to be aware of the subjective reality, reality disappears. Dostoevsky, the great Russian author, once had a dream about killing himself. But he met a small girl during that dream, and as he went to kill himself, he realized that if he killed himself, will that girl still exist? Because if that girl exists through his creation of reality, he kills himself and the girl, and he didn't kill himself. Wow, right? I know. We'll let that sink in for a few seconds. I know personally that I wasn't always happy to be by myself. There were times where I was, but I could have been better at it. And when I reached out to bring people into my life because I was uncomfortable with myself, it was inevitable I brought the wrong people into my life. I jumped into the wrong relationship. I called the wrong person. I hung out in the wrong crowd. Because it's a desperation, level of desperation that got fueled by things that weren't created by space. And when you create space and quietness, the universe brings into what you need, not necessarily what you want, but what you need. But when you don't give it space, it doesn't happen. Now that I'm totally comfortable being myself, it's incredible. Like, if someone texts me or calls me and wants me to hang out with them, that's fine. But it comes into my life, and it's great because the people who hang out with me genuinely want to be with me. I haven't forced them into any situation. They had a concept that they needed me in their life, and they contact me, and it's great to be loved like that. I got over trying to convince people to hang out with me. You know, you don't want to be in that situation to begin with. And it's like relationships. Blokes, we're particularly bad at this. We think we can convince girls into wanting to be around us and liking us. Why would you want that? Why would you want to have to convince someone to be around with you? You want their essence to be fully involved and passionately with you every moment of the day. Allow that to happen. Don't force it. Let's get on to the science. So what does science say about alone time? Well, science says that it reboots our brains, helps us unwind, improves our concentration, makes us productive, gives space for self-discovery, allows time for deep thinking, aids in problem solving, and enhances our relationship. Two things, right, I want to touch on, and I'll say them aloud so I don't forget them. Why does it help our brain? And two, why does it help our relationships? Because they're two both counterintuitive things. Okay, number one, it helps our brain because the majority of our brain deals with complex social interactions. To understand the cultural norms of your surroundings is crazy. You need to know that green means go, red means stop, that when someone does this, it's different to when someone does this, when someone's talking in different tonality, your brain is like a Christmas tree when you're talking to people or around people. It's flat out trying to keep up with all this data, these nuances, this body language, right? Alone time allows it to not worry about that social interaction, so you reboot the brain. Now, how does it enhance our relationship? Number two, reminding myself, right? It enhances our relationships because, well, we've known this for ages. Don't we say that, what is it called? Like, the saying, right? You're thinking what I'm thinking, right? Like, what is it? Like, aloneness breeds love. When you're separated, it breeds a longing. When we fall in love with someone, we fall in love with their persona, their identity, their spiritual nature. Now, it is true that when you bring them to your life, you connect and become one, but it's very easy to forget what you loved about them because it morphs into this combination of now we've got the same last name, we've got the same registration insurance, we use the same, bathroom. You forget that individual's a unique character. That's what you loved at the start. That's why passion fades so quickly in so many relationships, because they just become this amorphous blob of two people who don't think for themselves anymore and are constantly asking each other, is this okay, is this okay, is this okay, is this okay? Well, what happened to the person who knew it was okay and just did it? So it helps relationships big time. So how do you get alone time? I deal with people who are parents, busy, professionals, athletes. How do you get alone time? Well, let's look at 5 ways to get alone time. So number 1, wake up 30 minutes earlier than the rest of your household. If making time for yourself is hard, do it early. Now, this has been huge for me. People laugh because often I'll get up between 4:30 and 5. Now, I love getting up at 4:35, but I tell you what, when I first started doing it, it sucked. That warm, cozy marshmallow bed at 5 o'clock is somewhere you'd like to stay. I knew, however, that period, but between 5 and 7, when the world's sleeping, I own the world. It's like it's my personal playground. Could you imagine going to Disneyland and no one was there? That's how I feel about waking up at 5. You can get the things that are unimportant. So for me, I use that time alone to do yoga, meditate, read, and catch up with some stuff. But it's my time. Get up earlier. Trust me. Staying up till 12 o'clock for an extra hour from 11 to 12, you get to see a few more infomercials or some bad TV. I don't know, but I would suggest getting up early could be an incredible thing. 2, if our store closes. I remember when people used to say to me, I used to run businesses, and people say, have an open door policy. We'll manage to have an open door policy. Open door policy has nothing to do with whether your door's open or not. It has to do with whether you're an open person. Could you imagine Hitler had an open door policy? I mean, that's not really going to help his decision-making process. You've got Goebbels walking in going, let's kill more people. And he's like, you're the man, let's kill more people. It's not going to help unless it fixes who you are. So close your door in order to create space for the most important person in the world, which is you, in order to do the things that need to be done. Number 3, temporarily unplug your gadgets. I turn my phone off. Oh my God, it's beautiful. When your phone is on, there's a part of your brain that stays on, saying, I have to listen for a call, because it understands, it's Pavlov's dogs, the ringing bells, it's a stimulus response, right? So it's got a part of your brain that's constantly going, okay, waiting for the email notification, waiting for the Facebook notification, turn it off, because that part of your brain can turn off, and you can use it for better things. Number 4, take your lunch to the park. I used to work in a corporate environment, and I used to walk. Let's say I had an hour lunch break, I'd walk for 20 minutes to get to this beautiful garden, eat, had a waterfall there as well. It was a man-made waterfall, but I love the sound. And when I came back to work, it was just fantastic. Do what you have to do to don't eat your lunch at your desk. You're not a hero. No one's going to high-five you when you die of heart-related disease due to the stress and sedentary nature of your life and say, ate his lunch at the desk, let's give him a bigger gravestone. Won't happen. I'm telling you now so you don't have to learn the hard way. Don't eat your lunch at your desk. Number 5, make monthly dates with yourself. I love dating myself, apart from knowing, I get excited, like not only because I'm excited about dating like a super hot guy that's really interesting, I also find that life gets hectic and you need to schedule things, and it could be as simple as going to see a movie by yourself. If you like movies, go see them by yourself, don't see them with friends. Sitting in a room, especially blokes, we'll sit 3 seats away from each other. Sitting in a room with someone not talking, they might as well not be there. Take time for yourself, schedule it. As the most important person in the universe, you should get your calendar together. Now, scientific studies show that, that even couples who spend more time alone have better sex lives. This seems counterintuitive until you realise that when you love yourself, you can love others better. So how do you get enough me time when you're in a family? Because that's the biggest challenge I hear, is that I'm in a family. When I was 18, I had all the alone time I wanted, but now I'm in a family, what can I do? Well, first of all, you need to ditch the guilt. Guilt is the number one killer of alone time, because people go, can't possibly do this because, what about the kids? What about the spouse? Yeah, what about the spouse? They want to deal with the best version of you. Take the time out and ditch the guilt. You should be guilty if you're not taking alone time. That's the only guilt you should have, because you're not the best version of you. Stop being satisfied. Stop giving up your alone time for other people who probably need alone time anyway, but you're not giving them the opportunity because you're constantly saying yes to mundane stuff that could be done by them anyway, and becoming an enabler from the victim triangle we talked about about 3 days ago now. And try reframing. Instead of saying things like, I would like to spend time with myself, just say, I have to spend time with myself because it's that important. Being alone with yourself means you'll have a friend for life. And then when you have that sort of solid friendship with yourself, the people who come in, you don't judge them. They don't have expectations. They don't piss you off, because you know you can always go back to number one. And it just makes such a fruitful, more relationship. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but the more time you spend with yourself, the better time you spend with others. On this journey, you're going to love yourself. You're going to become better with yourself. I can't wait to see you till tomorrow, but until then, goodbye.